Hey everybody, welcome to the Pro Edge Podcast. I'm your host Conrad, sitting across from me, the producer Tim.
What up?
In studio today, we got a special treat for you, but first I want to get to Jack's Nutrition. If you guys are looking for supplements, get on down to Jack's Nutrition on Eagle and U-Stick. They're a top 10 store in the country for a reason. You walk in there, it's nothing but subs, and they know what they're doing. Man, Dustin and Steve's knowledge base in the industry and on their products is bar none. And right now you can get a 2 for $40 on Pro Edge Nutrition's Torque Pump Formula, which is a great deal. That's a 2-month supply for $40 on a pump formula. So go down to Jack's Nutrition, get linked up with Steve and Dustin, ask them questions. They're super smart. And if you need help with your diet, again, you're in the right spot. They'll hook you up with MEP Meals. That's Dustin's company. Pre-cooked food service, does all your macros. He's sponsored by Allmax, so he's an athlete. He knows what he's doing. He was a cook in the Coast Guard. He's also went to culinary art school. I can't say enough good things about the food quality either. I've had pre-prep meal services before that just, it's kind of bland. You kind of get what you get. It's not going to blow your socks off. MEP Meals food is restaurant quality. I mean, no joke. It's good stuff. So check it out, Met Meals. I don't know about you frosty fucks, but I like getting some ink done. And when I do, I go to Muse Tattoo down on Main Street and see my boy Cody Lee. Clean shop, great prices, and super supportive staff there. Real good about working with you on artwork. If you have an idea and you're not sure how to finish off your ink or where you want to go with the concept of your tattoo, they're pretty good about filling in the blanks and helping you aid that. Also, he doesn't rush his artwork. I like that. He takes his time. So if you're looking on getting some ink, get on down to Muse Tattoo. All right, let's get to it. So in studio today, something different, something unique, story that was on local news here in the Treasure Valley. I'm sitting in here as can you tell me that one more time? Because it's new to me. Station commander.
There you go.
Okay, from the U.S. Army. And 3 brothers, ages 19, 20, and 21, that have all decided to raise their hand and take the oath to serve their country. So sitting across from me right here is
Michael Miller.
And how old are you?
I'm 19.
19.
I'm Jeremiah Miller, and I'm 20 years old.
Okay.
And I'm Jonathan, and I am 21. Yeah.
Awesome. So whose idea was it first to join the Army?
It was initially it was mine. I always wanted to do military stuff. It was always in like the back of my head, either law enforcement, firefighting, or military. And I think to get to like, firefighting and like law enforcement at some point, military is like a great starting point. Because you'll get hired anywhere as soon as you're out of the military. If you have the right experience, obviously. But yeah, initially it was mine. And then Micah came along, decided to do it.
And so, as far as being out there, 21 years old, it's been a while for me, 15 years. How hard is it to get a decent job? What's your alternative? What's college? What's the mindset of you guys? Because when I was your age, the views on the military were a little different. I was in boot camp during 9/11, or right before 9/11, like that week of, and everything's kind of changed since then. But what's kind of the attitude in young men right now towards the military?
I have like tons of respect for the military. My uncle is he's an Army officer right now, and he really he didn't really push us, but like after we enlisted, he's really supportive of it. But like the older we got a couple people that are like, why'd you do that? But I don't really care about what they think right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think the generation that we live in now, I definitely, to put it bluntly, all the men now in our generation are kind of pussies when it comes to the military.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think our generation and the millennial generation especially, they get beat on because the older generation thinks they're slackers and stuff. And honestly, I feel like, for me anyways, the military was a way to like kind of push off that stereotype for me anyways. I've always been a relatively hard worker. I mean, I was doing 2 jobs and I was going to Boise State full time, but I just didn't find that fulfilling. And so that's the reason why I joined the military, is because I was tired of working 80 hours a week and then going to classes. And I feel like the military is just going to change things for me. So.
Yeah, and it's going to make you uncomfortable. And I think it really is. And I think in society right now, the views on being uncomfortable or putting yourself in adverse situations is like avoid them at all cost, right? Mm-hmm. And so with all the different options out there, it's cool to see young men want to actually go test themselves and go do something, adverse that will challenge you, because in reality, it's only going to aid your life. I mean, the discipline that you'll get from the military, if you take it to heart, and all the readiness and preparation that you'll learn, the team building skills and stuff like that you're going to learn, and it's all what you make of it. But you guys will be way ahead when you get out of average people, because you've installed that discipline, and that testing yourself and putting yourself in uncomfortable situations or hard situations is good. And so it's cool to see. I'm a fan. I like seeing young dudes that want to go serve their country and see the benefit in it. Mm-hmm. Because I think, we as a society, we've fucking nerfed shit too much, and we've got way too many pussies out there that think that, that everything's just lottie-dottie and, oh, I'm going to do this and that. And we need flat-bellied, stilly-eyed killers defending our country, always. And it's good to see young patriots, for sure. So, are you guys breaking any hearts when you guys go?
Nah.
No.
All single men? Come on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've had a girlfriend in like 4 years.
What?
Yeah. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
It was high school. Didn't really count.
Yeah.
Sophomore year in high school doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't count at all.
Well, I've been friend zoned. I've been going after the same girl for like a year and a half, and she keeps friend zoning me. But we sort of friend. It's like, I don't know, friends with benefits type of deal. But like, I wanted a relationship, but she didn't want one. So I guess she's breaking my heart when I'm going. But
oh,
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's all right.
You'll be fine.
I think I'll be okay, because I feel like I still got a lot of juice left in the tank.
You're 20.
Yeah, you're good.
You have plenty of juice.
Yeah, you're gonna be all right. You're a good-looking young lad. I'm sure you're gonna break a lot of hearts, especially in uniform.
Did you get a lot of pussy when you were? Because you were.
I was a Backstreet Boy in my day. I'll tell you that much.
That's good to know.
I had fun. I traveled.
Are you allowed to say where you went or not?
Yeah, so I was actually in the Coast Guard for 4 years, and then I was in the Idaho Army National Guard. So I was part of what they call now Marine Security Strike Teams, but I was on the prototype for the West Coast, the interim Marine Security Strike Teams for the Coast Guard. We just did counterterrorism, and then I was a search and rescue and law enforcement station on the East Coast, where we did all kinds of stuff, counter narcotics, work with customs, ICE, stuff like that. Whoa. And then went into the Idaho Army National Guard. I was a combat engineer, and I deployed with Joint Special Operations in 2010, JSOC. We got detached from our brigade and attached to JSOC, and I was a PSD commander in Iraq in 2010 and did 300 and something, 90 something missions with JSOC as a PSD guy. So driving around. So I've had a little bit of travel and experience and good times with the military, for sure. But yeah, I liked to chase girls when I was your age. I'm over that shit now, but yeah, when I was a younger man, I definitely loved to go out on the town. And you get to travel a lot. That's the cool thing, too. You guys are going to get to experience shit. Some people that are just don't want to experience that, they're going to have, maybe regrets later in life. I don't regret any of my service because I got to travel and experience and see so much stuff. It's hard, even if you're having a bad time, it's hard to look back on that and go, fuck, I'm glad it's stuff you don't want to miss. And if you, especially when you're young, you're going to get a chance to get paid, right? You're going to get a chance to travel and experience some stuff you wouldn't experience in the civilian sector, like facing that adversity. Because in the Army, too, what's cool is, especially in active duty, it's different in National Guard because of the funding, but the sky's the limit for the active duty. You guys can do whatever the fuck you want. You want to be a Green Beret? I mean, all you got to do is put in the effort, right? And have the right MOS. And if you don't, and you raise your hand, I know selection's dying for guys, right? They can't get enough guys qualified to even go to selection, let alone pass it. So the cool thing about the Army is there's just so many job opportunities and, like, different style units you can go to and career options afterwards, whether it's in the National Guard or whether it's in the Army Reserve. Even after active duty, you guys are going to have some cool options. And the National Guard's got, how many SF groups do they have? 3 or 4? They got the 19th.
Yeah, they got the 19th and the 20th, I believe. So I think it's like 4, because I know Ohio's got a Special Forces. Utah's got
Mississippi.
stuff. Utah, out in Washington. Anywhere where there's going to be close to, your regular Special Forces groups, you're going to have those guys there. Florida. So
Yeah.
I think 19th is on the East Coast and 20th is on the West Coast.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you guys are going to, just fuck, man. If I was your age, I'd go all in. Like, while you're young, go pre-Ranger, Ranger, Airborne, selection, everything you can while you're young and while you're single and before that old lady comes along and the kids. Go do all that high-speed shit if you get the chance.
If I were like given the option to be like stationed in like somewhere like domestically versus like somewhere they gave me the chance to do overseas, should I do overseas then?
Hell yeah.
Always
go overseas first.
Always go overseas. Don't, especially that life is fleeting, right? And it seems like yesterday I was sitting with my recruiter, so every chance you get, take it. Any chance they give you to go to a school or to travel, fucking take it. Even if you don't really want to do it, do it. You won't regret it because, you're gonna get. You can either make I've seen guys go in the service and come out miserable because of their attitude towards it. So it's what you make of it, and if you have a positive attitude about it, and just roll with it, especially when you don't have anything tying you down. The stressors of kids or family, really, like a wife, all that cool shit, go do it. And yeah, for sure. I'm jealous, you can tell. I'm like, oh man, if I could go back, boys. So tell me a little bit about, like, you guys are from Meridian, right?
Right.
Well, sort of.
Have you got, tell me a little bit about where you grew up, your parents.
Yeah, so we actually were all born in Japan.
Okay.
We're actually we're dual citizens. So we're all born in.
No, we ain't.
No, you're not dual citizens.
No, we aren't.
I thought we were.
No, you're not.
We're American citizens.
No, we're not. Just kidding. We're American citizens, and we're all American citizens, and we only stayed there for a couple years in Japan, and then we moved out. We've
been hopping around back and forth from Texas to we lived in
Lewiston for like 6 months.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then when he went off to college, me and Micah actually moved out to New York City, Manhattan Island, and lived there for about 6 months. Came back for schooling here, and we've stayed here. We've been here ever since then. So since like 3 years ago, when that happened.
Okay.
So we've been all over the place, really.
And are you guys, like, what's your ethnicity, like the percentages?
So like 50% Japanese, half American, or
Half white?
half Caucasian. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys know any history on, like, Japanese service in the armed forces?
My mom's dad was in the Navy in the Japanese
No,
Navy.
no, it was
No, he was
grandfather.
also in the Navy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
In the Japanese Navy?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So World War II era.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting stuff. So my grandfather was a combat medic in World War II.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't know. I've got a photo of his combat medic class, and there's probably about 15 Japanese guys in that class. And if you look at the dates on it, those guys had actually joined in lieu of going to camps here, like the ones they had outside of Twin Falls, because they put all the Japanese people in like interim style camps during World War II because of the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Okay.
And there was a ton of Japanese guys that were such patriots, even with their family members in those camps, still went and served their country. It's a pretty amazing story. So there's Japanese have Medal of Honor winners in the U.S. Army and all kinds of great history. So there were some huge social strides that came from World War II, not only with Japanese American soldiers, but African American soldiers too. When World War II kicked off, African American soldiers weren't even allowed to serve, but the need of them came, and then they actually had to fight their own commands in a sense to be able to go to the front lines. That's how I can't imagine being in that social demographic where you're being racially oppressed, or however you look at it, on the African American side and Japanese side, but you still had those guys willing to go fight and die for their country. It's a lot of cool history with that, and that's kind of why I was curious if you guys, you should look into some of that. It's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So there's internment camps here in Idaho?
Absolutely, yeah.
That was crazy.
And let's not get it twisted with like an internment camp when you think of Europe. It was completely different. It wasn't good by any means, but it wasn't bad by the stretched imagination of what happened in Europe at all. But some weird times for the country, and I find it fascinating just how many Japanese Americans actually went and served and fought when we were, basically had their family members in camps. It's a pretty amazing story. Do you guys have any anxiety over boot camp? Any fears? What's
Not really. I don't.
Yeah, I personally don't. I've been trying to reach out to a bunch of people and trying to other like military friends or family, trying to reach out and trying to get the best grasp on what boot camp's going to be like. And
just go in dumb, man. That's the best advice I can give you. Just take everything that you think that you know and flush it out and walk in there just like a stool pigeon and Forrest Gump it, and you'll do great.
All right.
Don't volunteer for anything.
See, I've heard the opposite from so many people.
No, let me tell you this, man. June 2001, I was at 30th AG waiting to go to basic training, and they're like, "Hey, we need some volunteers." So I raised my hand. They're like, "Grab your E-tool." I ended up cutting grass with a freaking shovel for fucking like 2 hours. And the next thing I knew I was in Alpha Company. So all I heard was Alpha Company, and I grabbed the other 3 dudes. I said, "Hey, man, let's go." They're like, "Oh no, that's not us. We need to stay here." I was like, "You guys still want to keep cutting grass?" They're like, "No." I said, "Well, let's hide in with these guys, and then we'll just go do our own thing." So luckily we didn't get caught on that one. It could have been a real bad night.
Yeah, make sure your drill sergeants don't. If they don't know your name by 2 weeks in, you're golden. But if they know your name by within the first 14 days, probably not a good thing.
No.
Does that just mean you're a troublemaker, or like you're just not
Go
doing-
either way.
You guys seem pretty smart, young, strapping young lads. I think that you're going to do great in the Army. Probably go on, get a degree, be great in business or whatever. There's going to be some shitheads that go there, right? Yeah. That you got to babysit, and they'll stand out quick.
Yeah. Oh no, they're going to stand out anyway. Yeah. I mean, this one over here, Micah, he already got like a 260 on the actual Army PT test.
Oh, good.
So they're going to stick out anyway. I mean, you got 2 studs and 1 runner. So 260,
huh?
Yep, 260.
Not bad.
Yeah. No, we're getting him promoted before he rolls out. So
right on.
Or at least putting the paperwork in.
So what'd you get for your push-ups?
I maxed out. It was like 73, yeah.
Yeah.
Sit-ups
75.
Yeah,
75.
I forget, but the
like
mile, the 2 mile, kicked my ass.
Well, yeah,
I haven't.
That's what happens when you don't cardio.
Yeah,
that's why JJ's the fastest.
My lowest score ever was a 289.
Really?
Yeah. If they would have gave us the extended scale and kept it, I think my average is around 314 for my 8 years in the Army. Yeah, when I got a 289, it was in New Mexico, Santa Fe, and we did it. I went to that Warrior transition course because I was prior
White
service.
Sands?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I did a couple. It was it was like a brokered boot camp. It was super weird, and they shit canned the program. But we ran the PT test in Santa Fe, New Mexico, in the mountains, and it wasn't White Sands, but we were at White Sands for a while.
Right.
It was their
But the
National
elevation's
Guard
the same.
base outside of Albuquerque, maybe.
Yeah.
And yeah, we ran that bitch in like fucking 15-degree weather, blizzard conditions outside. And I got a 289, and then they were like, no, it was the week before that. We had ran it outside, and the weather was real nice on a road, and it was downhill. And I crossed it like, I can't even remember. It was a ridiculous time, like like I was some kind of Kenyan, you know what I mean? And they're like, this is your time, and I've always been an avid runner. I'm like, you guys are fucking high. There's no way. And all these fat guys start coming in at like, running, all getting hundreds on their runs, and it's like, no. They measured it. It was actually a mile and a half.
As a big guy, you got to put it in neutral downhill, man. You just got to go with it.
But that was my worst PT score, and I won the competition for it was still the highest out of all those guys, but it was ran in fucking blizzard conditions.
That's rough.
So yeah, you guys go to a unit, you keep your uniform squared away. And there's this misconception with the new Army uniforms that you can't fucking iron them.
No, you definitely need to iron
Shit
that.
can that. Get your shit dry clean. Learn how to iron them. Always look squared away. Keep your shit high and tight. And then if you keep your PT score up there, you're golden, man. You keep that. You keep squared away. Keep your PT score high. Just do what you're told. You guys will go far fast.
How often do they like retest you?
Every
Like-
6 months.
Okay.
Every 6 months you do a PT test. Every 6 months you go to the rifle range because you have to maintain those skills, man. I mean, shooting is it's a losable skill. So if you don't continue to go out there and fire your rifle, you're going to forget everything you was ever taught. And the good thing about do you guys shoot at all?
Yeah, we've shot.
Yeah.
You shot before, so do you have bad habits
No,
like Kentucky windage or anything like that?
I don't even know what that means.
Okay. So Kentucky windage is like when you shoot and you see the bullet lands next to your target, all you do is you aim a little bit left or right to make sure it gets hit. That's Kentucky windage.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's not me.
Yeah, it's cool. That's the millennial in you. You guys don't know anything.
Yeah.
That's true.
Why we're joining.
And for those listening, excuse me, my allergies are killing me today. So, what I forgot already. We talked about it earlier, but so what job are you getting?
89 Delta. So that's EOD, explosive ordnance disposal, and yeah, that's what I did sign up for.
Okay, so what is the? I'm not even familiar with the MOS, even though I'm a combat engineer. Where are you gonna go to that school?
It's on the East Coast.
Cool.
Yeah. And yeah, just on the I forget where, but yeah.
And what's in the job description, and what do you understand that EOD actually does? This is going to be interesting.
I don't know. I know that I'm disposing of explosives, and that's about it. And
do you know anything about explosives?
no, I have no idea.
Right on.
That's what school's for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's it. What made you choose EOD?
I mean, it was just kind of like, I mean, when I took my ASVAB, I had like all the jobs open to me, and like almost all of them were available to me. Actually, all of them were available to me, and I was like looking through them with my recruiter, and I was just like, none of them were like standing out to me, and like I'd seen like EOD like in like the Hurt Locker and whatever. I was like familiar with it in a sense, And
Hold on just a sec. Just for the record, that movie is the fucking worst deception. Like that shit does not go down like that. When I started that movie and fucking homeboy's out there and there's like this daisy chain of fucking mortar rounds and IEDs and he's kind of just flopping through them like nothing. Fuck all that noise, dude.
No,
Hollywood is so full of shit sometimes.
Well, yeah, like in the part where there's like six like IEDs right there. Yeah, I figured that's like not like realistic at all. But like I was at least like familiar with the concept, of like the job, and so that like played into me like choosing that because it was familiarity, and then I was also that's the only one that jumped out at me, and like the only one that I was like that's something I could see myself doing, and so
cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, getting any experience in demo too. There's some career options after that. Obviously, it's not going to go away with the state of the world. So, how about you?
I'm going into 14 Echo, so Patriot Fire Control Enhanced Operator Maintainer. Well, I picked that really because first off, I get the biggest bonus out of either of my brothers. So
Yeah,
put that in their
that's
face.
one of those. So what are you getting?
I'm getting 25K.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
So those listening, if you're eating Cheetos on the couch playing Fortnite and you just got turned down for a job at Big O Tires, maybe 25K could help you out. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, so I just picked that job really because, well, I do want to go, I do want to be combat ready, so I do want to, at some point, be infantry. But I thought that this would be a good step, like a stepping stone into it, so I'd get a basis of what the military is about, really.
So if you go into that MOS and then tell your supervisors that you want to switch to infantry, they're gonna look at you like you got a dick on your face.
Yeah, probably. But
They're gonna be like, "You want to do what? We've got hot coffee right here."
yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just something that I've always wanted to do. Like, I almost enlisted right out of high school, but then I backed out, and I was gonna go infantry. But
There's this weird misconception about, and you hear it from other MOSs, that like the infantry or combat engineers or whoever in combat arms are rock throwers. But I'll tell you from the experience I've had, the best soldiers have been combat arms guys.
mhm.
There's some real talent that comes out of there because the discipline and the talent. And sure, you can have like an ASVAB score of 6, I think, and they'll be like, "Sure, here's a gun." No, I know. You know what I mean, though. But for the infantry, dude, there's some really hard charging, smart, intelligent, articulate dudes that come out of combat arms, and I think that they're, bar none, better soldiers. They face more adversity,
Right.
in combat arms. So I think, go. I'm pro combat arms. I'm pro. If you're gonna do it, at least you could always go into whatever MOS. But yeah, if you're gonna do infantry or something like that, do it while you're young.
Yeah, I definitely just want to get a handle on what it's all about. So that's why I'm doing Patriot Fire Control first, so that I can get, like, it has a lot of civilian application as well. So I'll have that skill if I re-enlist later on and choose a different job if I wanted to, or stay in the same job. So.
And active duty is pretty supportive if guys want to switch MOSs, right?
Oh yeah, as long as you got the right scores.
Yeah.
Because in your ASVAB score, you have your main score.
These
and then
guys
you have your line score. So you got this GT score, your general thinking, or general technical, whatever you want to call it these days. You got to have a 110 or higher to change your job in your for your MOS, which all 3 of these young men achieved over that. Most of them.
So you guys all have scores for warrant officers, candidate school, all kinds of stuff in the future.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because that's 110, right?
Yeah. Warrant officers 110. You got to make the rank of sergeant. So you got to be an NCO. Most cases, unless you want to fly helicopters. You want to fly helicopters, you come to my office and see us. As long as you meet the requirements, we can put you street to seat. In like a 6-month time period.
So if you're handing out coffee right now out of a drive-through window on a Sunday, and you could be flying in a helicopter with some guns and shit.
Well, I mean,
right?
you got if you're flying an Apache, yeah, or if you wanna fly a helicopter, you come on over to the recruiting station. We'll hook you up, man. It's easy to find. We're on Overland.
Hey, this show isn't sponsored by the U.S. Army.
No, it is not.
We're fully
Not at all.
supportive.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't turn them down.
I just gotta let you know where it's at, listeners.
Yeah.
That way, in case you can't find it.
That's awesome. So a Patriot, can you tell the general listeners what that is?
It's a big missile.
Yeah, apparently it's a big missile. And what my job requires of me is I'll be the guy who's, behind the computer, getting coordinates, giving out coordinates to people down on the ground, or just
no, you're
not on the ground.
No, you're
I
giving
lied.
coordinates, because it's ground to air defense artillery.
Oh, well,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so if somebody's trying to get us, we take care of them before it lands. So that's what his job's going to entail is big rocket meets extra rocket in the air and takes care of it.
Awesome.
That's
So did
what
you
I
ever
meant.
see? You saw In the Army Now, right?
Yep.
All right, you remember the Scuds?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically that's sort of a visual for those who are old enough to know what that movie is.
Pauly Shore.
Yeah, Pauly Shore, man.
I just watched that the other day.
Did you really? Yeah, it's probably the closest basic training movie you'll ever find. I mean, the push-ups, the way the drill sergeants act, that's pretty close, or at least back then. I don't know about now, man. I went to basic training like 17 years ago.
Yeah, we're already old school.
Yeah, we are. So here, let's
Oh,
Let's
my
turn it
turn
to
now?
you, yeah.
I picked an infantry contract, so I'm obviously infantry. I kind of just picked that just because it sounds super fun. Get to travel quite a bit.
You get an opportunity for all the coolest schools, too.
Yeah.
You want to go pre-ranger, you just got to have the scores
Yeah,
and be
exactly.
healthy.
Yeah.
Not be a shit stick, right?
Yeah.
exactly.
Pretty much. If you can shave and get your uniform ironed and show up on time and have the PT scores, sky's the limit.
He'll be fine. He just needs to work on his cardio.
Yeah. I can run right now. It's like a 15-minute 2-miler, and that's like without cardio.
Well, that's good. That's almost your minimum.
Yeah. Right. So.
You only got 30.
Well, you got to think, how am I going to ruck, 12 miles in under 2 hours? That's the type of thinking you need to have. How can I get my body prepared for that? Because that's where guys,
Yeah.
the PT test, if you're worried about that, don't go to Ranger School. You should be, the PT test should be something you could bust out and just like any day of the week and be like, whatever, 300, if you want to be a Ranger, or in my eyes. And so do like, take advantage of that infantry stuff. And some of those guys that are going to be tabbed, or that have been to air assault school, airborne school, pre-ranger, even if they've failed, get with them. Be like, hey, what do I need to do? They'll be like, oh, you want to do this with your gear, blah, 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 train like this. You're going to get some good training advice.
Okay.
But they'll probably, most infantry companies are pretty competitive with each other in different brigades and battalions and stuff like that. I'm sure that if your PT score is below a 270, they're not going to stop riding you.
Okay.
So you'll probably get in pretty good shape just being in an infantry
Yeah.
company for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, take advantage of that stuff and prep for it.
I'm not like too worried about. I mean, I am worried about the ruck marches, but I mean, I got some weight to lose, so I think on top of that, I mean, and I do like powerlifting and stuff, so I do lots of like compound movements. So I feel like that's sort of. I mean, it's not directly like correlated, but like I feel like it'll help me out just a little bit.
You guys are going to
rucking.
do way better if you have a base. Yeah, way better than that. A lot of people go and show up to boot camp like, oh, this will get me in shape. No. If you go in with a good physical fitness base, you guys will stand out for sure.
Okay.
Sounds like you already do, so
Yeah.
that's a good thing. Any any plans to do like a full career already, or what is you guys' mindset as far as like, is this just you're just testing the waters? I'm assuming they're all 4-year contracts, and any plans after, or what is your thought process going in? I'm curious because I was in your shoes once, and I don't think I remember shit about. I just think I went, and I had no real end state in mind.
So for me, I want to get my bachelor's while I'm in, and then I don't know how long that'll be, but eventually I want to go to OCS, and that's how I want to make my career. I want to stay in for a while. I think that might be the best move for me, because like I said before, I was in school, and I was working my ass off to like try and pay for school and stuff, and I was trying to get all this other stuff, and I feel like the Army can better prepare me for that and better assist me actually into like getting my goal of getting a bachelor's, and then eventually down the road when I retire, I'd like to start my own business and things like that. And so that's what I want to do.
How about you?
I definitely want to make a career out of this. I don't plan on, I don't have any plans to get out. I only have plans to stay in for as long as possible and make a huge career. But once I'm
Well, can we do a 20-year contract? Can you do that for him real quick?
No. This ain't the Foreign Legion. Yeah, it's not like
Sign here.
not like a one signer here. you know,
but
they get a couple enlistments. They'll probably get, I think most of them have 4 or 5 year contracts. So by the time that rolls around, the old rule used to be once you hit 10 years, you sign an indefinite contract. Now it bumped up to 12.
Yeah, and are you guys doing 2 years at all or anything like
We
that
do.
anymore?
We do have a try-to for a lot of graduates out there. So if they've thought about it and just don't know if it's for them, we give them 2 years to try out the Army. And if they like it, they re-enlist after that first year.
On that try-to, can they be pulled for deployment, or do they have any caveats with that?
Don't know.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Curious. So already talking like you're gonna just retire, right?
Yeah. There's nothing really tying me down now, and I don't plan on. Well, like tied down as in like having like a female here, like for me, and so anything like that. I mean, sky's the limit for me at this point. Like, there's nothing tying me down to stay in one spot at all. So might as well just ride the wave and just keep on going for as long as possible until my contract is up or I don't want to stay in anymore.
Right on. How about you?
I think I'm gonna. I have a 4-year contract, but I think depending on how it goes, I think I'm gonna like it. My best friend is just re-enlisted, so I'm not following in his footsteps, but I talked to him quite a bit about enlisting and stuff. But I think I'll probably re-enlist for like another 4 years or something like that. So finish my first one, and I probably want to do like a 10-year stint in the Army, and then do like 10 years of reserves or something, and then get my pension or something like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool to see you guys all have some plans. It's cute. I don't know how it's gonna work out because I like I said when I went in, I was just kind of like, who knows what I would have said, but that's cool that you guys are actually thinking ahead. That shows some good skills. And how about have you guys thought about when you guys get separated, right? How do you think that's going to affect you? How close are you guys as brothers? Because that's an interesting story in itself. And what are your parents thinking? I'll let someone lead.
You want to go?
Yeah. So we're obviously very close. We all enlisted at the same time. We're very close. Like certain family circumstances with our parents' separation, and him going off to college, we split for a time, and we still kept in touch. It's not like it hurt our relationship at all.
Okay.
And because then we all came back to Boise, same old ever since we've been growing up. When we separate, obviously it's going to be different because we're almost all 20. I'm about to turn 20 here pretty soon, and then so in 11 months. But
What?
I'm about
Almost a full year away.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
You're good, man.
And
I like it. Proactive.
But anyways, we've spent the majority of our lives together, but we know how to deal, or when we're separated, it's not like it hurts our relationships at all, but I think us being in the military, in the service together, it's only going to make our relationship stronger probably, because we all have these almost, we're going to have similar career choices, and it's just, and I don't know, we have new experiences to bounce off each other. We're going to have similar experiences, and I think it's only just going to make our relationship better, and yeah.
Cool. Now, did you guys consider any other branches?
No.
No. Not at all.
No.
No, not at all. Army's where it's at, I think.
Yeah, you could have went to the Air Force.
No, just
They've got the hottest girls.
Yeah.
you got to fire the biggest guns though in the Army.
Yeah, and the Air Force is for pussies. Let's face it. Anyway, moving on. No, if you guys will see, especially you in the infantry, we've stayed in barracks before that were condemned on an Air Force base. Literally, they wouldn't let airmen on them. And we thought they were the fucking Taj Mahal. Because there was a door and 4 walls. We're like, this is fucking perfect. But they wouldn't let those soft-ass fucking Air Force active duty guys stay in them. That's how fucking soft they are. Their chow halls are fucking. It's like a goddamn mall on one of their bases. Go to Langley Air Force Base. You'll be like, what in the fuck? It's like the Village Meridian. All the Air Force people are like, he's right. Never thought about the Navy or anything like that?
No, not really.
Not into butt sex?
No.
Boy, I'm just letting him have it.
You're railing him right now.
I don't know what I can and can't say anymore.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary.
Don't worry, it's all pro Army.
Fair enough.
You guys are waiting for something on the Marines?
Yeah, about
Yeah.
their intelligence or something.
Yeah, the Marines. You guys could have, for sure. But they are kind of. I got a lot of respect for the Marines. I don't know if I'd bag them. They're hard chargers, yeah. They're fucking super squared away.
Yeah,
So,
that's what I've heard.
and there's the Air Force too. They've got some outstanding guys. I've worked with them, and so does the Navy. But you guys will learn that you have to give them shit. Out of all of them, though, the Air Force, they're the biggest pussies,
All right.
for sure. The Coast Guard would smash them.
For real?
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. The Coast Guard's so small, there's no room for shit bags. He knows what I'm talking about. So, like, I mean, the Coast Guard is, especially even in the National Guard, the Army, you guys are going to find out, there's a lot of dudes, right? But in the Coast Guard, it's so small that there is, like, shit bags get weeded out quick. So everyone's super squared away. And so when I showed up to my Army unit, they were all like, oh, this fucking puddle pirate pussy. We happened to have a PT test that day, and I'm like, these guys are National Guards. They're calling me a pussy. And I fucking smoked all of them, right? And I was like, next time I'll wear my life jacket, boys. But, yeah, the Coast Guard's got some squared away dudes. But the Marines, yeah, they've got the toughest boot camp, right? You got to give them that. And I don't know though.
How long is their boot camp? You know,
It's like 18 weeks or 12 weeks or something like that.
Yeah,
It's somewhere up there.
They-
It's a little bit longer than ours.
yeah, they're squared away. I like the Marines.
Yeah, their silent drill team is top notch. I mean, I will give them that. You know,
Our dress uniforms are way better than they used to be, but fuck, man, those Marines, they got it.
I beg to differ. You know, I think blue and gold's way better than blue and red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's something about with their hat though, the combo. I don't know.
Yeah, that must be what it is.
The navy whites are pretty rad too.
They are. You know, but
Yeah.
I mean, the Army is switching to the World War II uniform.
Are they really?
Yeah, they're
That's
going back to
rad.
the pink and green, so
What's
it's going to be
Coast Guard's?
What's that?
Their formal uniform, is that what it is? Like
Their dress
yeah,
blues.
Oh yeah. What's that?
Coast Guard's dress blues. They look similar to actually the Army's now.
Oh, okay.
If I
they're
remember
more
right.
similar to the Air Force with the blue shirt.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's. It's
Yeah,
been
I mean,
so long.
If you want to see
2005.
what Coast Guard boot camp's all about, just watch The Guardian with Ashton Kutcher.
Actually, I had a friend, Steve Chopek. He had a stroke during that school. He was 28 years old, or a mild stroke, swimming a channel. He was pretty upset when that movie came out because they kind of deglorified the rescue swimmer school, or they made it seem a little more nonchalant.
Like
and
it's
stuff
easier
like that.
than what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and it's definitely, those guys are nuts. I never had that desire to fucking. I was at a search and rescue station, but like, jump out of a helicopter in 25-foot seas in the dark for someone.
Yeah, that's
That takes a different type of individual.
that's some
man.
intestinal fortitude for you right there.
I love
that
to
takes a lot of guts.
I love to swim, but fuck all that noise. Yeah, so, well, and the multicams are rad too. I really think the Marines did something right with their all their gear, with just the Coyote Brown, because you can wear multiple uniforms with it. That was one thing I had with the Army when we were deploying. I was like, why the fuck they gotta camouflage the duct tape? There's too much goddamn camo. Like, everything's digicam. Take a dump and the toilet paper's digicam in the bathroom. You're like, what in the fuck is going on here? Can't we just go with one solid color and do...
Wait, you had toilet paper?
Yeah. Digicam toilet paper. We were spoiled.
Yeah.
But the multicams are pretty badass.
Oh.
I was stoked when they went to those.
Yeah.
And then when you could start doing the
so on.
yeah, that was rad.
Yeah, so on looks better.
Way
Yeah.
better. Dude, you guys sew your shit up and get it.
Yeah. I mean, I suggest waiting until you put some stripes on, because you're going to have stripes on a lot longer than you're going to have the first 4 ranks on. So, because once you sew on one piece, everything's got to be sewn on. So if you just stay with the Velcro for like the first 2.5 years and then sew on when you guys become sergeants, part of the NCO Corps, it'll make you look real sharp.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Looking forward to it.
You should.
Yeah,
I mean,
super excited for the Army.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever. I mean, about National Guard, I started off in the Ohio National Guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I thought I was, tip-top dog, and then I went on active duty, and we went for like a 3-mile run. I fell out in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was not a good first day of active duty Army for me. I was like, what did I get myself into?
Yeah.
But then it gets easier.
Yeah, National Guard's different. It's the cool thing about the National Guard is when we worked with JSOC, we were kind of curious. We were asking, he was a SEAL. He was a senior chief in charge of us. We were kind of asking him, hey, how come you guys pick guard units for these positions to drive you guys around? And he goes, just National Guardsmen are kind of out in the civilian world. They have other jobs. They kind of think a different pattern than active duty guys, which made sense to me. And then when I thought about it, I had a unique situation. So my medic was had a master's degree and was like an accounting auditor for big companies for embezzlements. My gunner was a helicopter pilot for oil companies. And then I had one private that was like, just a kid that was in college, and then there was me. But like, you get a really cool mix of dudes from the civilian world in the National Guard. Sometimes it make a pretty cohesive team. It's a little different, but definitely interesting. But you guys will have all those options open to you. But the Army Reserve's different, correct?
It's a little bit different. The Army Reserve does not have any combat
arms.
MOSs. It's a lot of support. Now, the only thing close to combat the Army Reserve does have is that combat engineers.
Yeah.
So that'll work. And of course, the funding for the regular Army and the Reserve come from the same pot, and the National Guard comes from a little bit of federal funding and state funds.
Yeah, the National Guard. If you want to think you're poor in the military, join the National Guard.
Yeah.
You'll be like, you go to an active duty Army base, and it's like the Taj Mahal. The National Guard get the leftovers of everything usually. Funding's been way better. I take some of that back. I mean, we're still highly well-equipped, well-trained, blah, blah, blah. But
back in 2001, when I first showed up to my first drill, actually it was 2000, I go in there, and it was raining outside, and of course we didn't have any gear. So he was like, hey, go to supply and get your rain jacket. Dude, I mean, it was straight OD green, like from Vietnam.
Yeah.
And it smelled bad. Like, you could tell it's been wrapped up for a few years.
Yeah, a little bit of moss and mold on it.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, yeah, we, I think this fought in the Korea War, this here.
Yeah, something like that. Hey, there's a blood stain still in here.
And now it's yours.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Welcome to the National Guard. What's for lunch? MREs. Dinner. MREs.
No,
breakfast. MREs.
We went to Ponderosa.
Oh,
back when Ponderosa still existed.
Yeah. Hot. I've, it's all good, though. I remember being out in the field, and I don't know if it's National Guard or what, but they'd bring chow out to us, and you're just like, oh, fuck yeah, a hot meal. That's all you want. You've been training all day. And there's only enough, like when you're a staff sergeant, like there's only enough to feed like the E5s and below. That was super common.
Oh my god.
Wait, so the higher ranks didn't get fed?
No,
you let your soldiers go first.
You let your soldiers eat first.
Yeah,
and I just thought, I wonder if there's a branch out there that has
enough food for
But
everybody.
It was good for me, right? Yeah, it was good for me to see another MRE and quit being a bitch. That's what I needed to do.
The best MRE out there is that number 20, that spaghetti with meat sauce.
I was a big fan of the chili.
Oh, the chili mac?
Yeah, because of the cornbred.
Yeah.
I'm sure, dude, it's so moist, and then it's been in a box
so
for
bad for
so
your
many
health.
decades. The fact that it's so moist and so delicious is subjectively questionable, right? Like, what the fuck did they put in this bread? To make it moist when I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere, right? And I see that this was produced in 1965. Like, how the fuck is this thing so moist? So I probably got
I don't know.
some kind of preservative.
But jalapeno cheese spread will be currency in basic training, just so you guys know. Okay. That, whatever, like M&M, Skittles you got, that's all. It's like prison money.
I heard that DIs like take away your candy.
Nah, I don't know, man.
Oh,
We don't
okay.
have DIs. We have drill sergeants.
Or is there a difference between drill instructor and
Yeah,
sergeants?
drill, DIs are for the Navy and the Marines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
DS
So
is
I don't know what
What's-
the Air Force's one's called.
They're just called babysitters.
Oh, okay.
Coast Guard's company commanders.
Okay. Like for your DI?
Yeah,
For your drill sergeant?
they wear brown and rounds.
Oh, okay.
Coast Guard boot camp. I think they rank it the second toughest.
Really?
I'm almost positive. Yeah, it was pretty tough. They're kind of like the Marines. They do a lot of their history. They're big on their history, and the Marines are too. So you do a lot of classwork stuff in the Coast Guard, and then the one cool thing about the Coast Guard is like the fact that there's no shit bags. They have that's called the PEP platoon, and so if you're even remotely a shit bag in Coast Guard boot camp, you go to the PEP platoon. And this is how fun that platoon is. They have a suicide watch 24 hours a day.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh
They have
my
to walk
God.
everywhere like this. Pep, pep, pep. It's the performance enhancing platoon. From the moment they get up to the moment, and in the fucking, I remember sitting there at like, dusk. You're trying to get chow, and these fuckers, here comes the pep platoon, man, all 5 of them. It's usually just a handful of dudes. Those poor fuckers everywhere. Pep, pep, pep. They were the last ones to eat. They were the last ones to do anything, and everywhere they went, they had pep, 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 and they got the shit smoked out of them. So they were like open season for the company commanders. If the pep platoon's walking around, and then so a company commander can hear them from halfway across the fucking base, right? Because they're yelling pep and having arm up everywhere they go. So those guys just got fucking smoked for like a week, and if they made it out, then they went back to their. But man, I was always like, I was scared to death of going to the pep platoon. Although it would have been, looking back, I was like, I should have just done it just to challenge myself. But-
yeah, but you're not in that mindset. At that
Yeah,
point
no,
in
at
time.
that
No,
point, you're just survival.
yeah.
You're like, I miss my girl. Mama. I remember guys crying. Did guys cry
Yeah.
your first night?
Yeah.
I was
It's not at the basic training so much. It's more when you get the reception and you have all that time to sit there and think about what you're about to go do, and everything just hits you all at once. Like you miss your families and your friends and stuff like that, and you'll see grown ass men just start bawling. I mean, like it happens. Now, you would see them at the payphones. I know you guys don't know what that is, but it's a phone that used to be attached to a wall. You put quarters in to call home, and these guys would be on the phone 15, 20 minutes talking to their girl. Oh, I miss you, and just crying all get out. But it is what it is. I mean, you guys you'll see it. I'm pretty sure it still happens today. I mean, it's an emotional event. I mean, you go from everything you know to something you don't know. So that's always going to be a little bit of a mind fuck for you.
yeah, for sure. But positive, yeah, I think if I ever had shitty pants, it was because of my own attitude. If you keep a good, positive attitude and just be like, whatever, this doesn't faze me, you guys will go far. Kind of that, I don't know, it's that Forrest Gump kind of mentality, especially in boot camp. Just do what you're told and go with the flow, and you'll do fine.
Yeah, never swallow your motivation. Always stay motivated every day, no matter how crappy the situation is. Because if you let your motivation go, then everything's just going to go downhill for you. So if you hear those guys, basic training sucked, my unit sucked. Well, if you hear that it sucked, like, well, what'd you do to make it better? Like, what were you doing to not make the suck so sucky? I mean, heck, when we were in Iraq, man, it's Iraq. We did everything we could to make the best out of the situation. And we were hitting rocks with a Maddox handle to, like, just play baseball in the motor pool, or anything to help keep you motivated. I mean, hell, I got made fun of because I ordered a Dale Earnhardt, like, NASCAR jacket in the middle of the desert and wore it a couple of nights because it was freezing cold.
Yeah, definitely would have made fun of you for that.
Yeah. After looking back, I realized that was a bad decision on purchase. But you got that deployment money, so it's like, hey, I can buy whatever I want right now, and you just buy some of the dumbest things when you're deployed.
Yeah, everyone gets new cars. I did it.
No.
Don't do that though. Invest it into something else.
Yeah. If you want,
Like a stripper.
yeah. No, that's bad investment. That's bad investment.
Huh?
Yeah.
It's your return.
Your second marriage will be the funnest, guys.
There you go.
No, I'm just kidding. Well, it was cool to have you guys on. Any shout outs you want to do?
Man, probably my parents actually.
Let's talk about these two great people that raised these three fine young patriots.
Yeah, my mom is Japanese. She's been through quite a bit, so I don't know. Just the fact that she's willing to take care of us and And also, I mean, our parents obviously, like Mike mentioned, they split, but still love them to death. But just want to like tell them we love them because it's gonna be rough for my mom, I think, because
For sure.
I mean, the youngest leaves first, and so it's gonna hit her like a truck, I think.
Yeah, I bet.
Is she gonna be there on Tuesday?
I think so.
Yeah. Is grandma still coming?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
She's in town already.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What about your grandma's friend Brad Little? Is he still showing up or what? No idea. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know.
No.
We're trying to figure that out, but it's
Grandma's
tough.
friends with Brad Little. Like,
The governor.
yeah.
Right on. Well, how often, maybe you know this, did they pull any stats on when's the last time three brothers have been recruited?
Oh. I can tell you like this. I've been recruiting for almost 7 years now. Never seen it. There was one time I almost put in a set of triplets down in Brandon, Florida, and they all backed out at the same time. I don't know what happened, but that would have been my first. So in 7 years' time, this is the first time I've ever had three brothers, 1 week after the other, raise their right hand.
Yeah, that's
So, and
pretty
it's-
intense.
That's pretty cool. You know, especially, they're coming in like, oh, my brother said come do this, or, let me see what you got to do. And then for them to make their own cognitive decision to go ahead and do this because they know the risks involved. I mean, you sign a paycheck for up to the amount of your life. So it's, it's real, it makes you well up on the inside to see three people do the exact same thing that you did back when you were their age, and it's like, oh, I found my replacement. I found the next leaders in the Army, because that's what we're here to do, is to find these next leaders and
Yeah.
have them take our job. Because
Yeah.
I mean, I only got 5 years to go, and that's retirement. So
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that's
you guys are the future. You need to set a standard. Let other people know what you're doing. We need more young men like you guys, for real.
Yeah,
This
so
country's
tell your
lacking it. Lacking the patriotism.
Pussies.
yeah, tell your friends. Yeah, they already had one friend back out. Let's call him out on the air. So,
Yeah,
go ahead.
well-
Jordan Dixon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Dixon, I hear the Air Force is hiring.
He's not gonna appreciate that one.
No.
They can go to the Air Force, right? I mean, they fucking
Yeah.
give him some candy and whatever. He'll get a
Blowjob.
Honestly, he'd do really
pacifier.
well. He'd do really well.
In the Air Force or the Army?
No, the Army actually.
Yeah.
He'd do really
I
well.
mean, peer pressure is where it's at, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got a hog time and bring him in, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I've been trying to pressure him a lot recently. Yeah.
I don't know. He sounds like he's more qualified for the Air Force. He should probably go Air Force.
Oh, rest in peace, Jordan. Murdered him.
Yeah, he can be. I don't know. He can bake cakes. That's an MOS.
Baker.
actually.
Baker.
Yeah, no, they have it for real. For
real?
Oh my
Dead
God.
serious. Yeah, you can bake cakes in the Air Force and be openly homosexual, like just super wall baking cakes. And I wouldn't say it on air if I hadn't seen it and it wasn't true, right?
Really?
I made it up. Sorry.
Oh.
Okay, I thought you were being serious.
I'm sure it's happening somewhere on Langley. Anyway, all right, folks. Thanks for joining us. Any shout outs, Certain
Mainly just to my my recruiting team out there in Meridian, because these guys, they help facilitate these young men's enlistment, and I appreciate it. And I'd like to give a shout out to my son down in Florida. I know right now he's probably busy playing his new Nintendo Switch he got for Christmas.
Nice.
He's on that Fortnite kick with his cousins right now.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks again, guys. Appreciate the
Thank you.
Meridian recruiting team for bringing these young men into our studio.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, super stoked. Always glad to see young men enlist and go serve their country. We need more of it. So you guys, from this day forward, you guys carry the message, the flag, basically, and how you
Where's the
represent.
office?
Yeah, where's the office? Sorry.
Uh,
Let's finish.
Okay. Well, go ahead, Connor.
How you represent yourself as a soldier, as far as around other people, will influence other young men and other young adults to maybe consider joining. So keep that positive attitude, and hopefully we get more young men like you enlisting in our armed forces. So super stoked. Email us at the podcast when you're boot camp or anything like that. Give us any updates. We'd love to hear from you.
sure.
And I appreciate you guys coming on.
Awesome.
Sweet, thank you.
So the office is located at 2845 East Overland Road. It's in the same plaza where Dickie's Barbecue is. So if you want some barbecue and an enlistment contract with a decent bonus, come see us. take care of your barbecue.
Now, do you guys have any competitors next door?
No, we're actually our own station right there. Now, the National Guard is down the street to where, you know, where that Dutch Bros is.
But
Yeah, they got their little office right there, but
Well,
that's not really competition, I don't think.
that's still Army.
Yeah, it's still Army. So, I mean, and, you know, you guys hear us over here talking, you know, trash about the other services, but we're the only ones allowed to do it. Because once you go through it, you can make fun of anybody else. But, you know, when you hear somebody that's never done this before make fun of somebody, that's when you stand up like, hey, you ain't going to talk about my brothers and sisters like that. You know, you just give them one shot in the eye and they'll know, like, oh, well, maybe I should go do this myself.
Yeah, the caveat is I've heard some schoolgirls call Air Force guys pussies, and I was just like, well, fuck, they are on the volleyball team. They're
Yeah,
right.
that's true. I have to have my cousin listen to this. He's in the Air Force down in Nellis, so I have him.
Nellis Air Force Base, where's that at?
Vegas.
Vegas?
Yeah, he's stationed in Vegas. Rough life.
Tough life.
Right, yeah.
I met some Air Force guys. They were Air Guard guys, so not only pussies, but only on the weekend, like me, right? And they'd always be like, "Oh, I'm getting deployed," and I'm like, "What do you mean you're getting deployed again?" And they were going to like Louisiana for 2 months for some fucking training. I'm like, "You guys call that a deployment?" Because that's not we call that fucking a weekend off in the regular military. Like, oh, I'm going to go down there and just party my ass off and finish the school and chase girls or whatever, right? They call it deployment. Yeah. Like, fuck off. That ain't no goddamn deployment. New Orleans a deployment. Get the fuck out of here for 2 weeks. Anyway, all right, folks. Thanks for watching. We out.